In this video, I'll be counting down 5 terrifying spiders that you definitely want to avoid. These spiders have toxins that are so powerful they can rot flesh, paralyze your muscles, or even shut down your entire nervous system. Okay, let the nightmare begin. Coming in at number 5 is the orange baboon tarantula. Now I know what you're thinking. Most tarantulas aren't considered dangerous or life-threatening, and you'd be right. A lot of people even have them as pets, but here's the thing. Some tarantulas around the world are actually very dangerous. Tarantulas are found across the Americas, Africa, and Asia, and they're hard to mistake because they are large, hairy, and armed with enormous fangs. These powerful appendages are built to punch through the exoskeletons of insects, the scales of lizards, and even the flesh of some small mammals. Their size gives tarantulas the ability to not only drive their venom deep into their prey, but also to crush and rip apart their victims with raw brute strength. Now, it is true that most tarantulas are considered non-dangerous to humans, but I started this list with the orange baboon tarantula because it packs a major wallop. Nicknamed the OBT, or orange bitey thing, this spider has a reputation of being extremely aggressive, lightning quick, and delivers one nasty bite. Victims of the OBT rank it among the most agonizing tarantula bites that you could ever experience. Packed with an instant surge of white-hot stabbing pain that rips through the bitten limb, followed by muscle spasms, dizziness, and swelling of the wound that lingers long after the attack. And as someone who has been bitten by a tarantula firsthand, take it from me, this sounds absolutely terrifying. And the combined effect of this venom, along with the sheer attitude of the OBT, is how it landed on my top most terrifying spider list. Let's move on to the next arachnid. At number 4, we have the brown recluse. What makes this spider so scary isn't just its venom, it's where it chooses to live. Found across most of the United States of America, it hides in the very places that people call home. Silent and reclusive, hence the name, it can be waiting in your shoes, clothing, and the darkest corners of your home. You could tie on a boot or fold your laundry and feel that sudden searing sting. And by the time you realize what's happened, the damage has already begun to take effect. Brown recluse venom contains a cytotoxin that literally destroys cell membranes, leading to necrosis and death of the tissue itself. Basically, the flesh surrounding a brown recluse bite is likely to die and rot away. Ugh. Many victims have suffered from massive, open wounds that take months and sometimes years to heal, often leaving permanent scars. And although I have seen and witnessed many brown recluse spiders for myself, this is definitely one that I never want to take a bite from. And the fact that you can find these in your home makes them truly unsettling, unlike this next crawler that's on the list. At number 3 is a spider that I came across while filming in Costa Rica, the wandering spider. Unlike most arachnids, these spiders don't spin a web or wait for their prey. Instead, they hunt by roaming the forest floor at night. Unfortunately for us, it doesn't just wander forests. These spiders are also found on banana plantations, which has earned it the more famous nickname, the banana spider. Living throughout South and Central America, they are as aggressive as they are dangerous. When threatened, they don't run. They rear up their legs as a defense display, but sometimes they'll just launch into an instant attack. Now, not all wandering spiders are considered deadly to humans, but there is absolutely one species of wandering spider that you definitely want to avoid at all costs, the Brazilian wandering spider. This species has been documented by the Guinness Book of World Records as one of the most venomous spiders on planet Earth. If you're bitten by one, their venom contains neurotoxins that will block the calcium channels in your nerves. Because of that, it causes paralysis, in extreme cases, respiratory failure. Or to simply put it, this venom has the power to stop and paralyze the muscles that allow you to breathe. If it isn't obvious, we spend a lot of time making videos for our channels, and when we have a big day on set and we have to make a lot of content, the last thing we want to do is leave to have to go find food for lunch. That's when I use delivery with Uber Eats. It really makes life so much easier. You just browse, order, track, and enjoy in just a few taps. I've discovered great local spots this way, and when plans fall through, I can always count on Uber Eats to keep things stress-free. Sometimes I even use pickup if I'm already out scouting locations, or in the studio making one of these videos. It's always super convenient. And the best part? Every order feels reliable, so I know exactly when my food is going to arrive. So if you've never tried it before, now's the time. Use my code BRAVE15 for $15 off your first order of $20 or more. First-time customers only. Seriously, if you want your weeknights to be easier, or you just want to spend more time out on an adventure and less time cooking, consider using Uber Eats today. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. All right, now back to the video. Combine that with its aggression, and you have what I consider one of the deadliest spiders alive today. Which is crazy to think, because there are still 2 spiders left on this list. Which should leave you asking, what could be worse than respiratory failure from a spider bite? Well, at number 2 is the iconic black widow spider. Recognizable by the bright red hourglass marking on its abdomen, the black widow spider is perhaps the most famous spider on planet Earth. It's also one of the most widespread. Now, unlike some of the more aggressive creatures on this list, the black widow is surprisingly reserved. It spends most of its life concealed in a tangled, irregular web, waiting patiently for unsuspecting insects to stumble into its trap. Despite their sinister appearance, it rarely leaves its lair and only bites when threatened. Unlike the wandering spiders that roam in search of their prey, the black widow never seeks out conflict and only bites humans when they accidentally intrude on their domain. Unfortunately, if you are bitten by a black widow, its venom contains a neurotoxin that forces your nerves to fire uncontrollably. That means waves of excruciating pain, muscle paralysis, and sometimes organ failure. Basically, the venom hijacks your nervous system and sends your body into a state of absolute chaos. While fatalities are rare thanks to the availability of antivenom, the sheer agony caused by its bite is legendary. People who have been bitten report pain so intense that it feels like their chest is being crushed by thousands of pounds. That's a lot of agony from fear of a spider that could be living in and around your home. But at least you'd have to go pretty far, all the way to a certain city in Australia, in order to find the number 1 most terrifying spider on my list. Okay, here we go. At number 1, this is what I consider to be the most terrifying spider that lives on our planet, the Sydney funnel web spider. Native to Eastern Australia, particularly around the city of Sydney, this spider has become a living legend for its dangerous bite. Particularly the male of this species carries not only an incredibly potent venom, but one that acts with terrifying speed, and among the fastest in the entire animal kingdom. And what makes this spider even worse is its behavior. They are aggressive and fast and not afraid to stand their ground. The funnel web spider is an ambush predator. It constructs a burrow with trip lines that act like an invisible alarm shield. When an insect or even small vertebrate touches one of these threads, the vibrations alert the spider, and then in a sudden burst of speed, they rush out, sink their fangs in, and deliver a venomous bite that is so fast-acting that the prey has little chance to escape. The spider then quickly drags their victim back into the burrow, where it consumes its prey in the silence and safety of darkness. So imagine lifting a rock in your garden and coming face to face with one of these creatures. Unfortunately, for people in Australia, this can happen, and some have fallen victim to this species. That's because the venom has a toxic compound that disrupts the sodium channels in your nerves, much like other spiders on this list, but in a much more violent way. The result, the venom scrambles your body's electrical system so bad that it simply shuts down. And unfortunately, this can lead to human fatalities in less than an hour from being bitten. On a positive note, and thankfully, there is an antivenom for this species. And since its development, deaths have dramatically declined. But your survival still depends on immediate medical treatment. And that's what makes the Sydney funnel web spider the number 1 most terrifying spider on my list. Is there another spider species that you would have added to this list? Tell me about it in the comments. And don't forget, some of the most venomous spiders in the world could be a lot closer than you think.